Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I'm here for you, mate. Your host Jan. How's it going? You okay? Yeah? Well, I welcome you back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's been said about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts, feelings, opinions, etc. on it. But as always, more importantly, here is a community asking for yours. Your thoughts, that is. Right, today is a Chelsea news video. We're going to react to an article on The Athletic talking about Nico Jackson. He's really good. Should we be giving him to Man United? A little bit of transfer news first on the run up towards it, and a whole lot of Chelsea chat. Welcome. It's great to have you here. Thank you for the support, as always. Lately, I've been feeling the love, so thanks for that. You can be part of that simply by dropping a like on this video and subscribing if you're new, and hitting the bell if you choose to subscribe. That's nice. Thank you. Have you done that? Have you done that? Do it. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. So let's get some stuff out of the way. We're trying to sort out Axel Disasi. We had a Saudi club interested in him, Neom, but they have withdrawn their interest. To be honest, Disasi, he's not an awful operator. Certainly can play at a high level in Europe, and I think that we'll get a landing spot for him there. Now, interestingly, Mamadou Sarr is being loaned back. Sorry, he's being loaned back to Strasbourg. What? Have we, like, in the background found a centre-back we're going to buy, and we're like, in that case, was this always the plan? And they were briefing otherwise? Remember, we were reacting to briefs that Mamadou Sarr, and he, by all accounts, is a really good young centre-back. Oh, look at this boy. Look at this boy. He's gonna surprise some people at Chelsea. He's not coming to Chelsea to be a bench warmer. Some people in Mamadou Sarr's camp think he can start by the end of the next season. Back to Strasbourg, which takes up a loan spot. Remember, we purchased him from Strasbourg, and now he's being loaned back. Was that lead up, speculating, allegedly, theoretically, all just a load of hot air to be like, yeah, this is not just an accounting thing, moving him around. We're going to use him. Actually, no, he's not. He's being loaned back. And we put money into Strasbourg. I don't know. One thing, above all, I hope the kid has been lucid to all of this and he knew what the plan is all along and he's agreed to it. I hope so. Yeah. Strasbourg fans will probably be relatively pleased about this because he was part of a successful season with them. Liam Rosenior presumably also will be pleased. Like, they're getting Mike Penders in goal, great young goalkeeper, obviously in the absence of Petrovic, who we sold for 25 million big boys to Bournemouth. Excellent business. So they get Penders, who is meant to be amazing, or certainly the ceiling is incredibly high. We'll see how he does out there. They're getting Kendry Paez, who, if I was a Strasbourg fan, I'd be very excited about. Prodigious talent going to play over there. And then the third loan spot is occupied by Mamadou Sarr, which poses questions. Obviously, when we did this before, we ended up selling them Diego Moreira, who's done excellent out there. Maybe we sell them another player. I think Samuel Smith, is he going to be sold to them as well? So, I mean, look, guys, we're throwing loads of players at Strasbourg, whether they're loaned, whether they're owned by Strasbourg. They're still owned by Chelsea. I'm really mindful not to be disrespectful to the Strasbourg fans, because it must be horrible having this big, like, mothership just, like, dominate you and be like, but at the same time, hopefully they can enjoy sporting. I hope for Strasbourg they have sporting success as a result of the ownership of Chelsea. I hope it helps us out as a Chelsea fan, but I hope it helps them out. Right, what else? A little bit more housework. Of course, as well, because of Aaron Anselmino, he's another one. He was another one that was supposed to be on loan to Strasbourg, and he'll have to see other opportunities now on the loan market. Romano has also confirmed, the big Fabrizio transfer man, has confirmed that Chelsea have closed the doors for a loan exit for Carney Chukwuemeka. And they want a permanent move. But Chelsea's valuation of Carney has always been very high, so it's interesting to see how they will demand or justify their high transfer fees. I mean, I think he looked quite good for Dortmund, Borussia, but is it enough, you know? Right, there are worlds where we are signing more players. We're certainly selling millions of more players. But one is Nico Jackson, potentially. Man United looking at him, possibly Villa. Tom Harris of The Athletic writes an article. And we're going to read through it together and learn a little bit about it, and then we'll talk about it. Because he is good. It's funny, there's been like this huge thing of like, if Chelsea get Garnacho, if Man United get, you know, Nico Jackson, everyone will be unhappy. But the selling club fans will be like, no, Garnacho is actually really good. And a lot of Chelsea fans will be like, yeah, well, Jackson's actually really good, and he makes you better. Well, he makes you better. It's fair to say Jackson continues to divide opinion in the Premier League. At his best, the 24-year-old is a bulldozing number 9, a tireless runner, lethal on transition, capable of turning nothing into something with his all-action approach to the game. Catch him in an off day and he can look like a clunky, untidy, and slightly chaotic striker who can snatch at chances on goal. Not rent here, but also get sent off. And loads of offsides. Chelsea's decision to bring in Delap and Pedro this summer might suggest they're ready to move on from Jackson, but those in the club remain convinced by his ability. Yeah, I believe that. We've heard that forever. Though their front line is starting to look slightly bloated, Jackson's threat on the counter is unique. Another attacking profile for Enzo Maresca. He can lead on to overcome difficult challenges that the Premier League will present. There are several clubs... I can't read, man. I'm going to sip my coffee and try and reset my brain. Power up. Read English, Yannick. There are several clubs who are on the lookout for a striker. Boy, howdy, that's true. Including Man United, Newcastle United. Aston Villa may be in the market too, of course, if Watkins were to leave. The domino effect. So who wants Jackson? Looking back on his first 2 seasons in English football, it's important to remember Jackson is still relatively inexperienced when it comes to top flight minutes. He had only 16 games in La Liga for Villarreal before Chelsea came calling. That's wild. He only started 16 games. And he was a winger before that, wasn't he? Struggling to lock down a starting place for most of the campaign before racking up 9 goals in the final 8 games of the season. Yeah, he was running hot. That's when Chelsea came in for him. With that in mind, there's plenty of time for Jackson to refine his game. His time at Chelsea has presented a steep learning curve, but the Senegal international has not been overawed by the step up, holding his own against tough Premier League defenders and clocking a respectable tally of 34 goal involvements along the way. Yeah, that's great. Genuinely. 34 goal involvements in 2 seasons in a chaotic developmental Chelsea side. Pretty good. I mean, now is like talk it off the pot time because Chelsea are good. But, you know, those 2 seasons, you know, chaos. Pretty good. The speed at which Jackson has adapted to his new surroundings is impressive and appealing to suitors who believe they can tap into his potential further by providing him with space to continue to flex his muscles. On the break. In that respect, Newcastle's interest adds up. Yeah, I reckon it'd be great for Newcastle. And to be honest, Villa as well, because of Unai. They trailed only Liverpool expected goals generated through counter-attacks last season. Big on transition. According to advanced data provided by Photovision, never heard of Photovision before, Jackson was the player with the most counter-attacking involvements via ball carries in the Premier League. Wow, we were able to tear through teams with a powerful head-down dribble and breakaways of his own. He's also incredibly fast, Jackson. He's deceptively fast. It's something Eddie Howe saw firsthand as he took Newcastle to Stamford Bridge in October. Below in frame, it shows you here, Jackson drops deep to give his goalkeeper Rob Sanchez a passing option. With the opposition locked on man for man, Jackson spots the opportunity to roll the centre-back with a quick spin before accelerating away through the middle of the pitch, eventually laying the ball off for Noni Madueke. Cut inside and shoot. Sometimes Jackson looks ruddy wicked, I'll say it. He does, sometimes. Inside his own half facing away from goal, he turns a pressure relieving pass into a chance in under 6 seconds. Here's another example. It shows you against Bournemouth. Jackson drifts into a similar position, gets on the ball, but this time Dean Howson, of all people, is really tight to him. The broadcast footage cuts away, but returns to the defender, desperately trying to pull the striker back. David Brooke tries to knock him off balance in frame 3, but he ends up on the floor before Jackson powers towards the penalty area and thumps a shot off the base of the left post. Yeah, he's very similar in many ways to Delap when they just drag their teams up the pitch, but yeah, Jackson works really good. He's really technically gifted. We saw it in the pre-season under Pochettino when he was linking up with Nkunku before, and eventually he obviously was dancing with Palmer and stuff, but they're sort of side, in-step flicks and all that kind of stuff. So he works exceptionally hard as well, Jackson. He's constantly looking to run in the defensive line. He'll press, of course, all the time. Only Watkins made more runs behind per 30 minutes of a team in possession in the Premier League last season. So yeah, this is the stuff that the coaches, the scouts, the data people, this will go on in further detail and tell you why Nicholas Jackson's top of the pops when it comes to a lot of these runs, defensive works, pressures, sprints. He is an incredibly valuable asset to a team's attack, even if you're not just looking at his goals and assists, and of which he does get the odd goal and odd assist. So there's a bit more here. There's lots more that you can go check out. On his stronger side, Jackson generally strikes the ball with power. His technique can be inconsistent. He sometimes leans back slightly when he strikes the ball, occasionally having to adjust his body as he approaches and shoots at the wrong angle. But the volume of opportunity he carves out with drastic movement allows him to keep up a good scoring rate. He will be disappointed with last season, but with 10 non-penalty goals and a few assists in a team where you don't rely on one Haaland or freaking Salah, it's pretty good, actually. He'll want to get 15 plus every season, and no, Cole Palmer's gonna score more because he's an elite footballer who's also on penalties. The chaos that follows Jackson around can see some incredible moments of poor fortune too, but when he does get it right, as he did below for the opener against Everton in April, he is a force to be reckoned with. It shows you his goal in April against Everton. Premier League rivals will likely need to pay a premium for Jackson's services. While he is not yet polished, he's not yet a polished and clinical finisher at the highest level of the game, he makes things happen more relentlessly than many other players in the game of wild football. For a team willing to show patience in Jackson, the potential reward is clear. It's clear. Yeah, so there's kind of this talk about Nicholas Jackson that he kind of like Ekitike in a way. Obviously, Jackson's been looking good in the Prem now for a couple of seasons. That he could, become an Alexander Isak. So how old is he? Isak now is... Okay, so Isak was probably younger than Jackson when he arrived, but Isak was probably exploded into a really high level around Jackson's age or something. I'm not saying he's going to turn into Alexander Isak. I'm saying his ceiling is very high, and if he sorts out a couple of things, he will become a lot better. And Chelsea can see it. They've seen firsthand why he's good and why he's bad, how they're affected positively when he's in the team, and how they've been affected negatively when he's withdrawn. Of course, now they have alternatives, and this is the big talking point. Just before we move on and talk about prices and stuff and potential landing spots, he's been assessed on match of the day, different proper footballing analysts, and people like Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, and Wrighty. They're all elite strikers in their day, and they all liked Jackson. They can see it. You see other ex-footballers and talk about him, and indeed current footballers, when they speak about Jackson, they're like, yeah, we can see what's going on there. This is really great. Maresca in press conferences laughing yeah, you see how bad we are without him, how important he is. It's not just the goals. So fine. I feel like you can have your criticisms. I dig it. I see him as well. But I feel like he deserves the respect. We're all, annoyed with his behaviours with the red cards. They're the only 2 losses we've had in the last, long span of games. There's 2 losses. The rest are all W's, 2 L's, and they're the Jackson red cards. I'd argue the Flamengo game we might have not won anyway. Maybe we would have drawn, but we would have probably lost anyway. But certainly the Newcastle game was just dumb. So yeah, that's different, isn't it, from what he adds to the pitch when he's not getting himself sent off. But you have to take it into consideration. But yeah, the footballing world analyzes Nico Jackson like he's very, very good. Okay? Or at least he could be very, very good. Chelsea, should they sell him, will make a huge profit. Maybe even a bigger profit than, they did with the likes of Madueke. And, even though they make a big profit on him, should they sell Vega for what they want and yada, yada, yada. But how much would Nico Jackson cost? Well, many of you now will be saying, well, Hugo Ekitike, who's not Premier League proven, who's had one good season in the Bundesliga, is gone for 95 million euros. So let's, for the sake of this, do this in euros to keep it in the same currency comparatively. And they're like, well, Jackson's more proven. Jackson should be 120 million euros. Obviously not. That's mental. Now, let's talk about contextually why that doesn't make sense. Firstly, Frankfurt are selling a player that's their star player. He's their guy. They've already lost Marmoush, and they're basically cutting off the rest of the spearhead. Do you know what I mean? So that's their negotiating point. Well, you're taking our star, so he's going to cost a lot of money, and we're back I think they're back in the Champions League, so they didn't need to sell. Whereas Chelsea, the buying team could be like, he's your third choice striker. He's not your star. We're not coming for Cole Palmer here. Do you know what I mean? So it will be that kind of more, I don't know, like social or whatever, like pragmatic approach of that in negotiations. Like, he's not your guy, we'll take him, we'll give you good money for him. But Chelsea, just like Noni Madueke, even if Noni wasn't starting, they'll present the data, much like this article by, is it Tom Harris? Yeah, Tom Harris. It says, look, this is what he is as an asset. So this is value. It doesn't matter if we're starting him or not. That's up to us. But, this is it. This is the guy. This is what you get. I've seen some people recoil at the Manchester United links, and not necessarily because it means we'll get Garnacho in return. There wouldn't be a swap deal, of course. It would be, it would probably be somehow intrinsically linked. We buy him, you buy him, but it wouldn't be in the same deal, of course, probably chiefly for accounting reasons. He makes Man United better. Jackson playing up top, linking play with Cunha, Fernandes, and Mbeumo. That is an attack. That is a strong Premier League attack. Genuinely, he makes them better. Jackson makes United much better than Garnacho makes Chelsea. And that's your tagline right there. I am of the thinking that Garnacho is a really promising young player. He's only 20. Like, people have given up on him as this erratic finisher. Like, oh, he's dusted, he's washed. He's 20! And he's got loads of goal involvements. He's got he scores overhead kicks and stuff, and he's 20. And he does work quite hard, I do think he's a good player. And there's a good player in there. Of course, there's the links with Enzo Fernandez as well. I'm not I don't think it would be a disaster, especially because I'm quite high on Chelsea generally at the moment. I feel quite good about Chelsea. I would like us to sign a Jarell Hato type to alleviate Cucurella of workload. But, yeah, man, I don't think it would be a disaster signing Garnacho, provided it's not for silly money. But ultimately, the way you got to look at it is Jackson makes Man United way better, and Garnacho sort of just bolsters Chelsea slightly. Jackson immediately starts for United. He moonwalks into their starting lineup. He slam dunks himself up front, and Garnacho sits on the bench, probably, patiently behind Gittins, waiting to get some minutes. So you need to look at it like that. No matter, maybe Chelsea look at this like, well, United are so far behind us. This is not, because maybe they were more concerned with Noni Madueke going to Arsenal in terms of making a rival better. But Noni's not solving a problem position. He's back up to Saka, maybe plays a bit on the left. Jackson to United is solving the problem position. You're literally giving them the missing piece. So you weigh it up you're not giving Arsenal the missing piece, but they're a rival up here. You are giving Man United the missing piece, but they're down here. But maybe does that accelerate them? So this ownership have shown they don't care too much about selling to rivals if they think it suits them. There have been some indications that, you know, last season that Champions League rivals, they don't want to sell to them because they're trying to get Champions League. But I think they weigh up and thinking, well, Arsenal will finish in the top 5 anyway. Let's get loads of money off them. Maybe. I don't know if that's the way to look at it, but I'm speculating to a degree. Anyway, I wanted to spend some time and talk about Jackson. And I've done that. What do you think? Comment down below. Would you sell Jackson? And we haven't spoken about a price. Yeah, because I said, like, because it wouldn't be as much as like a TK Liverpool. I think it would. I think they try and get, like, more than Noni. I think it would be like 55 million plus 10 million. I think they try and get maybe 65 million pounds. Or 60 million pounds. That's more than doubling their money. 60 million quid. So 50 plus 10. I think 50 plus 10 gets it done. In pounds, though. Give me that money. What do you think, guys? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you, as always, for liking and subscribing to this channel, Football Therapy, where there is daily content, just like the second channel, Le Deuxième Chaîne, as they say in the motherland. Football Yannick, daily content on the second channel. Please do go show your love over there. Road to 20,000 subscribers on my little passion project, my second channel, Football Yannick. Go check it out. All right? Thank you. Cool. Enjoy the football. Peace.